Hello everyone. In this video we will be talking about mating a lone king with a king and two bishops. Of course, those two bishops have to be of opposing squares, like one has to be light squared and the other one has to be black squared, which is kind of a normal thing to have, but sometimes with the promotion you might end up with two bishops who are moving along the same colored squares, and in that case you will not be able to mate a king. But that's just a very rare occurrence, so let's proceed. What do you need to do to mate a lone king with two bishops? Well, as in a position where you have a rook or a queen, first you need to force this king to the edge of the board, somewhere to some edge of the board. And then it's not enough for him to be just on the edge of the board, he actually has to go into the corner, bearing some incorrect play. He could be mated even here, but he would have to self-mate himself. So if he puts up the best resistance, you really need to push him to one of these four corners. That's where you will mate him. So how do you do that? Well, it's very simple. You just use your king and bishops together to push him slowly towards his end. So you start approaching with the king, and let's say he opposes you. Well, now you bring one of your bishops to help your king. As you can see, this bishop is taking these two squares, and the king is taking these two, and as well this one protecting the bishop. So black is forced to step back. And what do? You just keep approaching him and pushing him towards the end even more. It's pretty simple. One more thing that I want to add, you can actually push him very far with only one bishop and the king together. But in order to mate him, you need to use both of your bishops. Also, you can use the other bishop to help make this pushing him backwards even more effective. So that's what we will do. Now he has to go back, because as you can see, in a similar way, we took the side squares of this king, and the forward squares are also taken by this king, and we are not even using this bishop yet, but we will use it just to make it more effective. Well, now it's the time to engage the other bishop, the light squared one. And you can play on many squares, but let's say you go here. This is a good move. Take the e6 square from him, and he has to go somewhere. It's either going to be down or to the left. Let's say he goes to the left. Now it's the time to go forward with your king. Why is that? You don't want to play a move like this, taking this square from him, because he can just go up and you didn't achieve much. You would have to retreat with this one or to protect it. So you don't want to do that. You just have to think and make a move that doesn't let him go back from where he came from, and at the same time that move has to take just another square or two. Like this, all the previous squares that were covered are still covered, but now we are also taking the d6 square, so he has to back down again. Let's say he goes here. Well, there are many moves, but let's say you give him a check. Let's say he goes to the side, and you just improve your position of the bishop and take more squares. As you can see, the two bishops together are very effective. So this black squared bishop is taking these two squares, and the light squared one is taking this square. So there is no way he's going to go that way. On the other side, same thing happens. So he only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares left for him to maneuver around. But very soon we are going to take all of those squares away from him. Let's see how that happens. He goes here. Well, you approach with your king. And then he goes here. Now, just go to the side and take another square. So he has only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, including his own square left. But we are gonna make that number even smaller very soon. He goes here. And now, what you need to do, you don't want to give him this check. Like in a previous situation where I discussed it, he could just go up, and you didn't achieve much. So that's why you just make one waiting move. What is a waiting move? You just see that with the forward move of any of your pieces, you would actually lose some control of your squares. And that's why you just make one waiting move. You make it anywhere on this diagonal to keep this square taken away from him. And then you say to the black king, it's your turn. Let's see what you will do. So let's say he goes down. Now you go forward. And as you can see, this bishop is now taking even more squares away from him. Let's say he attacks you. Well, you can give him this square, but you have taken this one now. And he is almost about to be finished. Let's say he goes here. You can give him a check. As you can see, there is only 3 squares left for him, but he can now step only on 1. So he goes there. You approach with the king. He attacks you. Well, you could go even here. It doesn't matter. The important thing is you have driven him into the corner. Now the only thing you have to do is just watch not to stalemate him somehow and deliver the mate. Let's say he goes here. You stretch. He goes there. You approach with the king. And as you can see, he has only 2 squares left now, here and here. This a6 is taken by the bishop, and these 2 squares are taken by the king. So now you only need to mate him. How do you do that? Very simple. You give him a check, he goes back, and you give him a mate. One more thing important to note, when we were here, we gave him a check that led to a mate. If instead of that we would be not very smart, we could play here and stalemate him. So this is the only thing that you have to be aware of, not to take too many squares away from him without giving him a check. But of course we are not going to do that. So we will just mate him like this. But let's say that here the bishop d2, instead of to a8, let's say he went to a7. Does it change anything? Well, not really. As you can see, you do the same thing. You take his last squares away from him, and then with the check, you take one more square away from him. When he goes up, you just mate him. So that's it basically. Well, I will just show you one more stalemate. It's almost the same like the previous one. Like here, if instead of giving this check, you took away this square from him, you would actually give him a stalemate. But that's basically the only thing that you have to pay attention to, not to stalemate him. So it was pretty simple. I'll just go through it one more time. To reiterate, you just keep approaching your king and your bishop. Take his squares one by one, sometimes 2 at a time, doesn't really matter, and slowly push him towards the edge of the board. and then once he is on the edge of the board, you push him towards the corner, and once he is in the corner, the mate is near. In the process, you have to make a waiting move or two, and just be careful not to stalemate him in the end. But if you have like at least a couple of minutes on your clock, this should not be very hard to avoid. I mean the stalemate. That's it. I hope you enjoyed the video and that you will have easier time mating with two bishops against the long king now. Goodbye.